Welcome to Daily Scary Tales, where nightmares come to life. Hit subscribe and share the horror with your friends, if they're brave enough. Let's dive deep into the attic's secret. Stop scrolling if you dare. What lies in the shadowy corners of an attic can never be unseen. This is a chilling story of curiosity, dread, and the echoes of the past. Our tale begins with Eleanor, a history professor in her mid-30s who has an insatiable love for uncovering forgotten relics. She had just inherited her grandparents' century-old house, a charming yet eerie Victorian-style manor, with an attic that had remained locked for as long as anyone could remember. Intrigued by family rumors of a mysterious artifact left behind in the attic, Eleanor couldn't resist exploring it. After days of searching, Eleanor finally found an old rusted key cleverly tucked away behind a faded portrait. Dust motes danced in the sunlit air as she climbed the narrow staircase to the attic, the steps groaning beneath her. There it was, the attic door, imposing and untouched, with its padlock now waiting to yield. With a twist of the key and a metallic click, the padlock fell to the floor. Goosebumps raced up her arm as the heavy door creaked open, revealing a space that smelled of old books, decay, and something less identifiable, something ancient. The room was filled with cobweb-covered furniture, stacked boxes, and an overwhelming sense of foreboding. But what drew Eleanor's attention was not the ominous aura. It was the life-sized, intricately carved wooden chest positioned at the center of the room. Its surface was adorned with esoteric carvings and symbols she couldn't decipher. Beside it was an old diary with yellowed, brittle pages. As she opened the chest with a screeching noise, she found what looked like old letters, fragments of pictures, and a peculiar hand mirror wrapped in silk. With fascination taking over her fear, Eleanor pulled out the mirror. The moment her fingers touched the cold, uneven surface, she felt a frost creep up her spine. Then as she glanced into its surface, her reflection, that of her calm and composed demeanor, didn't stare back. Instead, the mirror portrayed an image of the attic, dim and shadowy, but something felt wrong. In the image there was another figure. A shadowed silhouette of a man stood just inches behind her. She spun around in alarm, but the room was empty. Unnerved but refusing to give in to panic, Eleanor fumbled through the diary. It belonged to her great-grandmother, who had written about a protective mirror entrusted to the family generations ago. The entries described how it was meant to trap malevolent entities that sought to harm them but came with a warning. The mirror must never face a reflective surface. It will free what's inside. Eleanor's hand trembled as she closed the book. Her thoughts raced. What was in the mirror? And had she done something to release it? The air around her grew heavier, nearly suffocating. It was then that she saw it. The shadowy silhouette on the farthest corner of the attic, its shape indistinct but deeply unnerving, as if it was staring right at her. She tried to rationalize it. A trick of the light, exhaustion, or simply old wood casting strange shadows. But the shadow didn't remain still. It moved, slowly at first, crawling inch by inch toward her, until it loomed right before the life-sized chest at the center of the room. A cold voice descended upon her ears, whispering her name. Not a scream, not a cry, but a whisper filled with dreadful certainty. Frozen in place, Eleanor did the only thing she thought would help. She raised the mirror, facing it towards the silhouette. Instantly, the wraith-like shadow recoiled, a guttural hiss filling the room as it seemed to be sucked back into the mirror's reflective surface. The attic shook with ferocity as she fumbled to wrap the mirror back in silk, muffling the eerie sound inside. Panting, Eleanor clutched the mirror close and stumbled down the stairs. She bolted the attic door, her mind racing. What had she almost let loose into her home? And worse, could it truly stay contained forever? For weeks, Eleanor avoided the attic, but she wasn't allowed the mercy of forgetting. Every mirror in the house seemed plagued with fleeting glances of the same shadowed figure. She began to hear whispers during sleepless nights. In one final desperate attempt to rid herself of the looming dread, Eleanor packed the cursed mirror, the diary, and all the artifacts she found in the chest. On a moonless night, she drove to the dock to hurl it into the sea, believing she could erase the past. But as her car's headlights glimmered across the waves, she paused, staring into the reflective glint of the mirror. For the briefest moment, she saw herself. Yes, but not as she recognized herself. It was her, grinning widely, her eyes lifeless and hollow. Her scream echoed over the empty coastline as she threw the box into the sea and drove away, tears streaming down her face. Still, she couldn't shake the feeling that it wasn't over. The car's rearview mirror that night showed the same hollow figure, grinning back at her. There are some secrets that should remain sealed forever, the attic's secret being one of them. Let this be a cautionary tale. Some boxes are better left unopened, some reflections are better unseen. And now I have to ask you, would you have dared to open that chest? Comment below and share if you've got the guts. And remember to join us for another tale of paranormal dread next time on Daily Scary Tales.